Listen up, my fellow PlayStation fanboys. Put down your pitchforks for just a second and hear me out. Hands down, the Xbox One X is for sure a stellar console. And I know it's going to kill many of you PS4 lovers, but on paper, the Xbox One X reigns as the most powerful console you can get at the moment. PC gamers, I know you guys are laughing right now, but just for the one time, let Microsoft catch this dub, please. And even in practice, when actually gaming, thanks to the slight performance gains on the Xbox One X versus the PS4 Pro, Microsoft's offering seems to do a better job at rendering 4K graphics, and dropped frames are still there. Sure, no home console is perfect, but it does a much better job, especially when game developers are pushing the boundaries of what they can do with video games. For the gamers who demand the best overall performance, the best specs, and a great selection of exclusive titles, look no further than the Xbox One X. A lot of people have questions or are just flat out confused about this console. What's the difference between this and the regular Xbox One S? Well, stay tuned to find out. Let's roll that intro. There she is, our Xbox One X. This isn't any ordinary Xbox One X though. This is the Gears 5 Special Edition console with a very unique Gears 5 Special Edition design right on the console. Such a stark difference from the regular black Xbox One X. We see on the front that this comes in with a 1TB hard drive and retails for $500, with all of this Gears 5 artwork on the front and back of our packaging. Use whatever sharp object is closest to you to cut the stickers, and then lift the sleeve to reveal the actual box with much of the same artwork. Open up the top and you are greeted with the literature with the Xbox One X branding. Found in the literature is a product and warranty information guide, a quick start guide, a code for 1 month of Xbox Game Pass and Live Gold, and your code for Gears 5 Ultimate Edition and the entire Gears collection. You'll notice at the bottom it says it is Xbox One X Enhanced, meaning you're able to take advantage of all those juicy and improved graphics thanks to the power of the almighty Xbox One X. Dig deeper to remove another small box that contains a free stand for your console so you can stand it up vertically, where otherwise this added accessory would cost $20, so it's nice that they threw it in there for us for free. We now move on over to our accessory box, which includes our HDMI high-speed cable, our power cable, and of course our special edition Gears 5 Xbox One X controller, which looks super dope and unique, having that grayish bluish color to it alongside a pair of AA batteries to get up and running. And now, what we really came here for. The console is well packaged to protect it during shipment, so remove the styrofoam that holds it like a newborn baby, and remove the protective film over it, and there she is. Your limited edition Gears 5 Xbox One X console with all of this really neat artwork shrouding the surface of the console. Is this the coolest looking special edition console or what? What do you think? Let me know down below, or if you think another limited edition console bests this. Now again, as is typical on my channel, let's take a really close look with my macro lens and take a quick 360-degree tour of the console. In a way, Microsoft found a way to create a beast of a console with almost 5 times greater performance over the original one, and shrunk it down to about 60% of the volume of the original Xbox One. Truthfully, I totally dig the design. It's modern, it's sleek, and is pretty compact and lightweight for what it delivers. The front looks really minimal, and when laid horizontally, sort of just disappears into your entertainment setup. Maybe not this grayish limited edition Gears of War console, but the typical black basic one definitely will. On the front, we have our physical Xbox button to turn the device on. Gone is the pesky capacitive touch button from the past, and now Microsoft opted for a physical button, which I am a huge fan of. Something just feels so cathartic about pressing that Microsoft button for the very first time rather than a fake button, and hearing that chime that starts up your device. Directly south of that, you have your USB 3.0 port used to connect a wide variety of peripherals such as the Xbox One Play and Charge Kit, and right next to that is the manual controller pairing button. All the way to the left of the console is your disc eject button, with the actual disc slot right above it. Just like on the One S, this isn't a tray that manually protrudes from the console. It's rather internal, so gently put your disc in and it'll automatically receive it and begin to load it up. The disc tray appears to be more hidden due in part to the console now having this kind of forehead that protrudes more and gives the base more of a slimmer profile, or at least it gives the illusion of it appearing much smaller towards the bottom. On both sides is where you'll find most of your ventilation, needed to allow your console to power through the most demanding 4K HDR content, while keeping all of those powerful internals nice and cool. If you look closely, you do have a tiny hole to manually eject a disc in case, in the rare event, a disc won't eject and get stuck inside. On the back, you find even more ventilation to blow out all that hot air that gamers know all too well after long periods of heavy gaming, but more interestingly is our wide selection of I/O. First off, we have our standard figure 8 input for our power, which thankfully requires no power brick. The original Xbox One had a whole different console in the box, it seemed like, with a power brick so big, legend has it some construction companies are buying them up to construct houses with. No exaggeration, it was massive, so props to Microsoft for simplifying their console and making it more practical. Microsoft retained the same TV input ports, being your HDMI in and HDMI out, used primarily to hook this thing up to your TV, but can also be connected to your cable or satellite receiver. We also have two additional USB-A 3.0 ports, an optical audio output port, Ethernet port, and finally an IR port for an optical IR blaster if you want the Xbox to control your TV or cable box. And finally on the top we have a much more seamless design with this very simple solid matte design on the black console, but of course this being a special edition console, it has this awesome Gears of War theme going on with the Xbox One logo at the top right, and on the bottom you have your rubber feet used to stabilize your console on a wooden or glass surface, accompanied by this really neat looking pattern that provides some texture to the bottom as well. Your Xbox controller is much the same as the one that comes with the Xbox One S. As you have probably noticed by now, this isn't your typical controller because this controller sets to match the design of the special edition console as well, but this is the only change. It is purely aesthetic for the bundle. The controller still carries that same more flush design as compared to the original controller, with a few more tweaks here and there like the redesigned shoulder buttons with redesigned switches and a slimmer profile, which feels much better when playing first-person shooters like Call of Duty or while going on a Fortnite spree. I actually prefer the feel of this controller over the DualShock 4. The shoulder buttons and especially the trigger buttons or the rear bumpers just feel better to me while gaming, and the ergonomics just feel more natural to hold in the hand. Aside from that, we retain basically everything else on this controller. Our glowing Xbox logo, view and menu buttons, our two joysticks with this tire-like feeling texture surrounding the circumference of the joystick, our D-pad, 3.5mm port on the bottom alongside the proprietary connector for using first-party accessories like the included headset, A, B, X, and Y buttons, and our battery compartment to use a set of AA's, which some would consider this a pro and some would consider this a drawback because you'll have to fork over even more cash on top of the already steep $500 price tag to have the luxury of rechargeable batteries. But again, rechargeable lithium batteries like the ones found in the DualShock 4 do degrade over time and can eventually render your rechargeable controller near useless, being able to hold less of a charge with every charge cycle. I don't know, I fall in the rechargeable battery camp, but hey, to each their own. This channel is a judgment-free zone. But the bigger question is, what makes this a standout console and what incentives does this offer over the Xbox One S, which can routinely be found on sale hovering around the $250 price point? Well, for one, as I mentioned, for all that power, you actually get a pretty compact console considering everything under the hood. It measures in at 11.8 by 9.4 by 2.4 inches and weighs in at 8.4 pounds. Yes, pretty heavy, but continue on with the video and you'll see that the added weight is well worth it. Besides, the majority of people will have their console cemented to their entertainment system anyway, and majority of gamers rarely will lug it around. For reference, the original Xbox One weighed in at 8.5 pounds, but seemed like a behemoth next to the One X in terms of dimensions. Comparatively, the lower spec and lower priced Xbox One S is noticeably smaller at only 6.4 pounds and measuring in at 11.6 by 9.1 by 2.5 inches. So is the added weight and size worth it, or is Microsoft just pulling our legs and being extra? Not at all. As a matter of fact, the Xbox One X is the best place to play native 4K games on a home console. It not only supports 4K, but also HDR for games and videos and plays UHD Blu-ray discs as well. Just make sure you have a 4K TV with support for HDR to fully take advantage of that performance. It makes absolutely zero sense to fork over all that cash and pick this console up if you only have a 1080p display. The 1080p TV will not play your content in at 4K. You would essentially be burning money by doing so and shooting yourself in the foot. So before you buy, just make sure your TV is a 4K HDR TV. Unlike the One S that upscales content to 4K, the One X is able to render those graphics in true native 4K, allowing those graphics to look very real to life and super crisp. All of this is thanks to that amazing CPU and GPU. For $500, you get a custom 8-core 2.3 GHz AMD processor, which is better than the lower clock processor of the PS4 Pro, which is clocked in at a base of 2.1 GHz. The One X also has 12 GB of GDDR5 RAM and a custom AMD GPU with 6 teraflops of computing power and 40 compute units. For comparison, the PS4 Pro GPU handles such power with a lower 4.2 teraflops. But you may be asking yourself, what in tarnation is a teraflop? Well, let me tell you. In nerd terms, a teraflop is a measure of a computer's speed basically, and is usually expressed as a trillion floating point operations per second. So 6 teraflops translates to 6 trillion floating points of operations per second. If you guys need me to dumb it down further, it basically means how quickly the processor can render graphics. So in short, because the Xbox One X has more teraflops of computing power over the 4.2 the PS4 Pro has, means the Xbox One X surpasses the PS4 Pro in graphics capabilities and yields that crisper resolution and less dropped frames. To be honest, the Xbox One X is a dedicated gamer's dream come true. For the gamers wanting the most power, the best graphics, and the best performance from their console, said gamer should look no further. This is the console for you. When it comes down to it though, the only real downside to the machine is the price. It prices itself out of the competition and is evident with the sales of the PS4 versus the Xbox One. The Xbox One MSRP is for $500, whereas the PS4 Pro, its main competitor, retails for $100 less at $400, and in the realm of video games, that is huge. That is a 20% difference in price when you compare the Xbox One X versus the PS4 Pro, and $100 can go a long way in buying a couple of AAA games or maybe a decent headset. However, don't let this be a barrier for you. Both consoles are already expensive as it is, and the extra $100 for the One X goes a long way when you consider the fact that the Xbox One X is the world's most powerful home console. Again, I can already feel the PC gamers commenting down below. Xbox sucks, my custom built PC is 10 times faster. Yeah, but the other advantage is also the great game library Xbox has to offer with its exclusives. With great exclusives like Gears of War, Halo, Forza, and Killer Instinct, the Xbox One is a fantastic option at playing these games in the best possible resolution and frame rate. I just can't stress enough how gorgeous these games look on the Xbox One X, as it is immediately noticeable when you compare the graphical performance over the Xbox One S. It really is that powerful. The power here is not to be overlooked. It's really hard to demonstrate this over camera. It really has to be showcased on a 4K HDR enabled TV. I'm not going to go out and say that the exclusives are better on one console over the other because games are subject to the user's own tastes and dislikes. Traditionally though, it can be argued that this console generation, the PS4 has had an upper hand in the better exclusives, but honestly, the Xbox exclusives are just as interesting and worth playing. Everything else that comes with the Xbox One S and even the all-digital version remains consistent here. Same Xbox Live Gold, same interface, same everything. It's the hardware that you're really paying for. The user interface is fun and easy to use with Xbox Live Gold, providing you endless hours of multiplayer fun with your buddies, with a good mix of a couple of free games thrown in every month. Hardware-wise, I love the approach Microsoft took, making this a very minimalistic looking design, while also making it look sharp, futuristic, but more importantly, simple. It's great to look at, but of course, the main purpose of buying one is for that incredible performance under that hood that will make you drool and really captivate you into the realm of video games. With graphics so real, it makes you feel like you dove into a different world, escaping the realities of life for as long as your gaming session lasts. Compared to the PS4, most casual gamers might not notice a difference, but that's not who this console is geared towards. This console is geared towards the most loyal Microsoft gamers, gamers who take their gaming serious and want to enjoy content in full native 4K with support for HDR. The Xbox One X has very few downsides to it. Dare I say, it's near a perfect console. I may get some backlash and dislikes from the loyal PS4 fanboys, and that's okay. I love the Xbox One X solely for what it promises, and boy does it deliver. The extra cash you have to fork over may be a determining factor, I'll admit, but if you love the Xbox and love the UI and everything else that accompanies Microsoft's gaming console, pick this up for sure if you're serious about your gaming. You won't be disappointed. Just keep in mind the new Xbox Series X is set to be released probably next year, so maybe making this investment might take a little more thought. But anyways guys, I hope you found this video useful. If you enjoyed it and learned something, make sure to drop a fat like, and if you think it sucked, then you know what you can do. Until then, I can't wait to catch you all in my next video.